And welcome back, everyone, to Live Reality Games here on Facebook, on YouTube, wherever you are watching or maybe listening to the podcast after this airs. We really appreciate you being here. We are joined here by Austin. Austin, welcome back.
How you doing?
Austin has been helping us out keep up with Survivor Boston and this epic season 4. Austin is originally from Survivor Michigan, and of course, we've transitioned him to the Live Reality Games team. Austin, thoughts about the season so far before we get to our special guest?
Gosh, y'all, this season is absolutely incredible. Like, they say Survivor Maryland All-Stars is like the creme de la creme, but like that's old news. Season 4 of Survivor Boston is just kicking it up every episode. This episode was no different. I'm always just completely floored by the gameplay. The characters are incredible. And just what the Survivor Boston crew is putting out is always phenomenal. So I'm really, really grateful to be back here again, recapping and interviewing the fine folks at Survivor Boston. So,
and for those folks that are still keeping up with the show, make sure you check out their YouTube, Survivor Boston, to catch up. Now, with that being said, we do have the latest eliminated player after a crazy shakeup at a amazing Tribal Council episode. Somebody we all did not expect to see so soon, and we're a little disappointed that we are seeing them so soon. However, we welcome Swetha to our unfortunately voted out players. But Swetha, how are you?
I'm good, sad watching myself go home, but doing good.
How does it feel to watch yourself at home? Are you seeing like yourself in a different perspective?
Oh God, no, it's cringe all over again. It's even worse because you know it's coming, and it's just you just dread the moment. But honestly, it's kind of funny. It's all in good faith now.
Mm-hmm. And another surprise happening here tonight. We are joined. Unfortunately, Roz couldn't make it tonight from season 3 of Beacon Hill, but we do welcome her back whenever she does feel like coming on, if she's able to. We are joined with one of the hosts here, Jacob.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. Hi, Swetha. How are you?
Hi, Jacob. Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so excited to be here, especially for this episode. Like this Tribal Council specifically has been something that myself and Charlie have been talking about literally for the past 2 years. So we're just excited to deconstruct.
I'm so glad.
All of it.
Well, just even in our pre-conversation, Austin and I were just talking about this episode and even just the whole season. It's just been twist after surprise after gameplay. It's astounding how great this season of Boston is right here. Jacob and Charlie and producers, Phoebe and everyone on crew, like characters, Swetha, everyone, 100% great job. Like, it's amazing.
Thank you so much. Like, that really means a lot to us and the crew. Like, the crew, like, specifically, like, shout out to the camera crew for this episode.
Yeah.
Ari, if you're watching this, I know they were the camera that was on the clue during the challenge that just stayed on it the whole time.
Oh
shout out to them. It's the amount of work that the camera crew puts in for Survivor Boston.
Yeah.
I love them for it.
I've done camera stuff before, and it can often be a thankless job. And so, yeah, thank you, camera crew, for being incredible and capturing all the good stuff.
Well, speaking of that camera crew and staying after, thank goodness, because Swetha, after the challenge, we'll just jump there real quick. So during the challenge, you were popping balloons. There was a clue that fell into the middle of the room that you're playing with. Everyone's around. You see it. You come up with the wise idea of walking back with the contestants, and then from the sound of it, dashing back to make sure you get it. Was that really how it happened?
Oh my God. I remember it like it was literally yesterday. Yeah, but it fell out of a balloon. It's actually crazy watching on the episode because it seems so obvious. Like, how did no one see it? We were all like dancing around it. But so stressful because I feel like for a second I was like, should I grab it while we're doing this? And then I was like, that's actually crazy. But yeah, so I thought it'd be too obvious to pick it up while everyone was still in the room. So the only thing that I thought would make sense was to literally leave with everyone and like went down the elevator. Like, we walked across the street. Everyone went to campus. I said goodbye. I walked all the way to the train station. And then I like was peeping around to see if everyone was gone. And then like sprinted through traffic. Like, literally cars were coming. I like ran through traffic all the way back upstairs. And I kept being like, oh my God, like production definitely like packed up and left. Like, it's been it's been like 5 minutes, and obviously walk in and was rolling. I died.
It's so funny.
But yeah, crazy moment.
They have a saying, what would you do for a Klondike bar? But what would you do for an idle clue? Like dashing in front of traffic.
Yeah, apparently.
So we did just jump to the challenge and everything, but I want to bring it back real quick and kind of start from the beginning. Sretha, how did you hear about Survivor Boston? I know a lot of contestants earlier have been like talking to fellow like people on the show before, but how specifically did you hear about Survivor Boston?
So funny, random. I was at a party once with Spencer, and I just saw him post about it. So I briefly asked him about it, and then like whatever. I didn't actually end up. I hope this is okay to say. Whatever. I didn't actually apply to play this season, and then someone dropped out. So Jacob and Charlie messaged me and asked if I would do it. They were like, you don't have to audition. Like if you say yes, like you can literally join the cast this week. And I actually talked to Roz, and I was like, I don't know, like it seems like it's gonna be a really big time commitment. Like it's my senior year. And I was like super unsure, but she convinced me to do it. So I said yes. And
I'm super glad that she did talk to you about that. I'm so bummed that she's not here tonight to tell the story herself too. But Roz, if you are watching at home, feel free to click that link and join us whenever you want to. We'll pop you on here, and there's no worries. Jacob, what was going through your head too when somebody dropped out and you were like, gosh, we need another person?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So normally like during casting, like we also try to cast alternates as often as we can. But with I think it was probably like 2 or 3 days before, correct me if I'm wrong, Swetha, when the other person dropped, and we really needed someone. So we went through like the list of people that we had. But Swetha had been someone that we were actually talking about getting on the show since season 2 at that point. We're like, I think from the second both myself and Charlie met Swetha, we're like, yo, this would be so fun to have her on. So we really took the opportunity before even digging into like our alts, just being like, hey, you around? You want to try this? Like, pretty please, would you do it? So like we had some options there, but honestly, we were just really lucky. Like I think she said yes to Charlie, and I think I had to like do a double take. I'm like, wait, did she? Like she said yes. But I was so excited, so happy that Swetha played.
Swetha, did you have any concerns joining? Like a lot of people out there that don't watch Survivor per se are like, oh, Survivor's scary. It's really hard. Did you have those same, like you were talking about, like your school commitments and stuff? What really, I don't know, made you do it, I guess, besides that conversation with Roz?
Yes, I had so many concerns. I feel like I say this all the time during the season, but I'm super not athletic. Like I'd never even seen Survivor, but I knew the kind of stuff they do. And I wasn't sure what they did at like Emerson Survivor. And definitely the time commitment. I will say Charlie for sure lied to me about the time commitment. You can hear this. He was like, oh yeah, it's like 2 hours on Fridays and 1 hour on Sundays, like super chill. It's fine if you have to leave early. It was like definitely way more than that, but it's fine. It got me in. I don't know. I think I was interested just because I don't know. I just feel like I'm a very competitive person, and I hadn't had a lot of opportunities to do something like that before. And it was obviously my last year of college, and I didn't see myself doing anything like that after I graduated. And when I just had seen like Spencer post about it, I was just like, oh, it sounds like really interesting. And Spencer's a cool person. If he did it, like, I'm sure it's cool. But I don't know. It was just a lot of different factors. And of course, Jacob and Charlie begging me.
Well, we're super excited and super happy that Jacob and Charlie worked so hard in recruiting you on that. And thanks, Roz and Spencer, for like helping push Swetha towards us. Because like I said, you were amazing. And then just as a recap from the pre-assessments that Austin, Nathan, and I did, Swetha, you are technically our highest ranked player. So technically our fan favorite. So.
Oh God, I let you all down.
No, not at all. We speak about the time commit here. Charlie did say he stretched the truth, and by stretch the truth, maybe added a few hours and days of commitment time.
Several hours.
So it's a classic Survivor move.
Now, I guess it's really about your commitment to the game and how much you want to build like relationships with people, because of course the challenges may take only an hour, but it's the time after, it's the texting, it's the talking and that. Austin, did you have that experience too? Did you like commit yourself during Michigan when you played?
Yeah, like I know at least one person on my cast actually like dropped a class during the season. A couple of my friends like failed classes because they were putting so much time into it. I remember one night, and like I faced the issue of everyone stayed up a lot later than I usually did, and so things were going on when I was asleep. And so I missed a lot of things and had to wake up to like 100 missed texts and be like, I gotta play catch up here. So, and then like in class, you're getting texts, and I'm like, I need to pay attention, but it's going down. I need to know. I gotta weigh in, and it's like it's nuts.
And probably sometimes when you head to bed, you're like, okay, we're voting this person. And then you
Yeah.
wake up,
And
you're
then
like, wait, we're voting for it.
Huh? You had a what?
What's this
now?
new group chat
like,
going on?
yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, so it's always in flux. It's insane. It's like you got to be really on the ball, and like to do it. Like I did it in my senior year as well. So like that can always be tough when you're trying to figure out, well, what the heck am I doing after college and all this stuff. So it's always a tough gig to juggle.
Well, speaking of being seniors too, we're joined here a little bit in the comments by another senior that played your season, Swetha. Austin's here.
Hey, bestie. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, who's this Austin guy? And why did you walk in the room with him? We'll bring it back to that. That was everyone's first inclination. You walk in with Austin, you guys are chatting, friendly, and everyone pinpoints you two.
Yeah.
Never would have thought that. I was shocked when I saw the episode. I mean, I think Austin spoke to this when he was on the podcast, but literally like Spencer was outside the door, and when we arrived, he would like film us for a second before we went in. It's like an open public lobby area. Anyone could walk in. So of course I'm filming my thing, I was filming my thing, and then like Austin comes up, and I was like, "Oh my god, like you're playing Survivor!" So obviously, I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll wait for you to finish your thing, and then we can just go in." But I was just so random, and neither of us had seen Survivor, so neither of us thought that was a huge deal at all, and obviously everyone else did. So big mistake.
And you mentioned it was the topic for one episode. No, it was the topic for until like episode 7.
Until he was gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Crazy.
And probably still that
probably
players were talking about it. They're like, oh no, that's Swetha and Austin. They had a thing. Good thing we took them out. So
yeah. Were you two ever like planning to work? Do you have like some kind of telepathic like I want to? Because you guys were on the same tribe initially, right? Before the switch. So did you like go into it thinking, oh, he's doing this, I want to work with him, he's my friend?
Yeah.
And it just never happened.
Right. I mean, I think like I was very new to the game, and I didn't really, when he got switched to the other tribe, I didn't think that I had to meet with other people in other tribes. Like that was really the reason why we never met. Like it wasn't because we didn't want to work together or whatever. Like I just was focused on meeting the people in my tribe for like our votes, and him the same for his tribe. And then obviously we merged, and then that. So
yeah.
But we would have loved to have worked together if he had stayed on my tribe at the beginning. Like I think that would have been really good.
So just initially, you were meeting your tribe mates and you knew people that you're meeting. What was your initial thoughts of the initial team?
I mean, I didn't really know anyone on my tribe. Honestly, when Austin got moved to the other tribe, I was like, oh, damn it. Like, I'm so scared of everyone. Which is funny because I feel like I watch and everyone's like, oh, she's so like loud and big, but I feel like I was so scared of literally everyone. But I had like vaguely known Maddie like from mutual friends. So she sort of like reached out to me to meet, which was great. I mean, she was like my first ally, and she literally was just like, let's work together. And I was like, awesome, I have someone to work with. And she sort of brought me in with Zach, and I feel like that's how they sort of became the two main people that I really trusted and worked with. But yeah, I mean, who else was in my tribe? Oh, I thought Anna was so sweet. Anthony, lovely. Wait, Anthony's on the other tribe. So I'm getting confused with the merged tribe. And I love Finn, but I was deeply afraid of him.
That seemed to be the perception of a lot of people.
Yeah.
Everyone thought Finn was being so tall and maybe a little bit on the quieter side.
Yeah.
You and Maddie considered voting Finn out like episode 2 almost.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's intimidating to be around someone who, like you said, is like silent but deadly, or like, what is he thinking? And like, I don't know. He's like, I feel like me and Maddie are so like outwardly like smiley and giggly. So I feel like anyone who's
He's
not
a little
like
bit more
that,
reserved. So
Yeah.
what are you thinking? But no, I'm glad that we kept him. I mean, you know, obviously for some reasons, but he was like a great asset to our alliance for like the time that we all had together.
Even in just episode 1, I really liked your gameplay and establishing. I think it was after the first team immunity challenge, you had a confessional and you were like analyzing everyone's skills. And you were like, all right, so this person's good for that. This person's good for that, which kind of helped out, except for one challenge that it seemed you kind of took charge of, assigning the positions, and people weren't really digging that.
What? I know. What?
I think it was Anthony's like, I can't throw a ball to save my life. And Swathe is like, you're throwing the ball.
That is like, okay, if that's how it happened, I'm like literally shocked because I feel like I was so timid. I just think, I guess multiple people had done that puzzle before, but I didn't know, but I had done it before. And I'm like, okay, once again, to repeat this like 10 times, I'm like so bad at sports. Like, please take any ball away from me. So obviously I was like, please let me do the puzzle. Like, I've done it. Like, I can get it for us. And I thought I was doing the team a favor, like, by saying I wouldn't do any of the sporty stuff. But I know I was shocked that I felt bad that Anthony thought that I took that opportunity away from him. But I mean, it never happened. So
Yeah.
Well, I guess the other kind of sporty thing was like the pacer challenge or the pacer test.
Oh.
I think you fared really well from my recollection.
I know. Well, I went into the pacer that challenge and I was like, I just have to make it halfway so I don't embarrass myself. So I like really put, and I think literally, I'm pretty sure I just like walk off the field. I literally think that 5 people finished and I was like, I'm done. But yeah, I mean, looking at someone like Anissa and Marlon were running, it's like no one thought they were going to win. So like, why even try?
Well, just one little slip up and they like stop paying attention for a second, stop and like get out of the zone. They could have just like, oops.
Crazy.
So.
Yeah, those beeps are deadly.
They're beeping deadly.
Yeah.
Challenges. I know you said you're not a sporty person. Any favorite challenges that you did do? That balloon popping challenge looked awfully fun.
God.
I love that challenge so much. I got to do it in Michigan. That one's a blast.
I don't even. Yeah, that was crazy to watch. Like, I don't remember it being that crazy doing it, but watching it, I was like, you look.
You look like kids playing around, like Hallie said, like at a birthday party.
I know. I feel like the whole time I was like cowering in the corner as I did in many challenges. I feel like this season. And then Big H just kept like running after me because he sensed my weakness, which is fair. But no, that was really, honestly, this is shocking because I just said I don't like sports, but I really liked the capture the flag challenge.
You like tackling people?
I don't know. Like, I mean, it was like a team sport, so I didn't feel the pressure that I had to like do a lot. But it was fun to work together and like come up with a strategy as a team. Obviously, sad that my bestie was injured in the process. But besides that, I mean, it was like a nice day, and it was fun to be with everyone and like run around and be crazy. So I liked that one.
Jacob, I don't know if it was you or Charlie in the live comments that said it was crazy during that balloon challenge, which was this episode.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Like I remember, like going.
I think Hallie instigated a lot of it.
Yeah, she was wild.
It was like normally Charlie and I, like, we talk before the challenge about like who's going to be like the main host for the challenge, like the main person announcing what's going on. And the second we said start, and like Hallie just starts screaming and running, like I had to like take a step back because then everyone just started copying her. There was like the first like, I think we like the challenge lasted about double what is shown like in length,
Wow.
and like most of that was lost in those first couple minutes of them just screaming and running in circles and nothing was actually happening. Like I remember like editing it and like watching, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like I can't tell, and I have every camera angle. It was pure chaos. Love it. Love every second of it. But that was pure and utter chaos.
We were like fully possessed. I don't know why. It was like we had all of this tension inside and just let it all out in that challenge.
Well, after that huge tribal, you're like, of course, you run around, like let it out, because it looked like you went to the challenge right after tribal. Is that traditionally what you normally do, Jacob?
Yeah, especially with like Emerson student schedules, like everyone's just known for overcommitting. So once the merge hits, we normally go straight from tribal to the next immunity challenge, so that every time we're meeting up, we're progressing the game. So normally the merge takes place in like a third of the time that the whole pre-merge will take place in. So yeah, literally the room next door from tribals.
Yeah, it's like we didn't even go into the hallway, right? It was like a door connected.
Exactly.
Crazy.
Let's talk about voting. How did you get comfortable voting for people? Was this something that you kind of, because you understand the game and how it works, or was there some votes that were really hard to put down?
I mean, obviously Austin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that one specifically, I just have to talk about it because I still feel guilty for Austin that me and Maddie didn't like fight harder. I don't know. I feel like it's so hard to be in a position where you want to like make big moves, but you also like want to go with the flow, but not go with the flow too much that like people think that you're like whatever can be taken off. I mean, you guys know it's such a hard balance, but it was so hard to be in that position where we were like, we really don't want to lose Finn and Carly. Like we really want to keep this alliance of me, Maddie, Finn, and Carly going. And they're so adamant about Austin. And I mean, I don't know why I didn't just like write someone else's name down just to be like, I refuse to write down Austin's name, but like, I know he's going to go home. But I feel like we wanted to show like tribe unity. But yeah, I mean, it's hard in times like that when it's not what you want and not what you think is best, but you sort of just have to do what everyone else is doing so that no one is mad at you and no one takes you out next. Especially with someone like Austin, who even though I didn't know it was to this much of an extent, like I knew people like associated Austin with me and Maddie, so didn't want to act like I was like fighting for him too much. And yeah, I mean, earlier in the game, like, I mean, the very first vote was obviously crazy. And like, I mean, when Maddie was on, like, I obviously watched her talk about it, but it was like Anna's name was thrown out and I like didn't want to vote for Anna, but I was like, okay, like whatever everyone wants, like, I'll just do that. Like, I'm ready. And then Maddie, like, I'm pretty sure she first reached out to me and Zach about the idea about Madison, and I was so scared. I was like, Maddie, like I want to like go with your plan, but I really don't want to make such big moves right away. Like it's literally day one. But I mean, again, it was like having the trust in my alliance and the fact that we had that like open communication and knowing that like it was what was best for all of us and not just for one person, I feel like helped with the votes. But it's always hard, and I feel like every time I would go into a room with Jacob and Charlie, I'd be like, oh, I'm like stressed. That's for ages.
How was Swetha during her confessionals, Jacob?
Swetha was always fun because, like, you know, she would like everyone. I got so used to this during season 4 specifically. Like, you know, most of them, anyone who was like off campus, I would have to sign them into the building that I was in because I lived on campus as an RA. So I would always have to do like the same small talk with them every single week. And Swetha would always have the same really positive energy with like a hint of I'm fucking terrified inside. And I loved it. It was so great because you could sense it right off her. It was incredible. But on top of that, you know, like she always had like good reads and like what was happening and like what people meant in all these conversations. Like you see in the episode where Finn goes, you see Swetha clocking Carly immediately about where she actually voted. And Swetha the entire time is still able to hold that face of, okay, I believe you, I'm with you, until she walks out of the room. which is, it's hard to do sometimes. I like a lot of people would sit there and just call bullshit on that, but Swaitha sat through it, and that was genuinely really impressive to just watch.
What
Really?
it means is that I'm really good at being fake. So
Yeah. I wanted to ask you about that, like walk us through the like alliance with Carly, because you went from looking like you were pretty close strategically, and then like once she flipped, it seemed like it was kind of all over. Is that kind of how it was?
I feel like what me and Carly had was always a fake relationship. Like, not even exaggerating. Like, I'm sure she would agree. Where it was like, yeah, I mean, I feel like from my alliance, like of the 5 of us, even like I was always the person who'd be like, yeah, like I'll talk to Carly. Like that just seemed like I was like the liaison between us and Carly. And like, I mean, I feel like I always wanted to work with her, but it just like we always would meet, and like she knew that my alliance was separate from hers. Like when we like didn't have any overlapping allies, like what was really gonna happen there. I feel like the only time that we genuinely worked together was when our tribe swap happened, and it was like me, Maddie, Finn, and Carly with Big H, Anthony, and Austin. That was like the only time that we were genuinely like allied, which was great. But I feel like as soon as we merged, it was like, okay, that was fun. Yeah, but I mean, I just think that I would say this all the time to Maddie, where I was like, I want to trust her so bad, but I just never do. And I was always right that we were never honest with each other. So, but we tried.
Yeah, alliance goes probably Maddie first for you, Maddie being your number 1, and then maybe Zach next.
Yeah.
Did you have any like behind the scenes alliances or maybe conversations that we missed out from the editing, or just it wasn't filmed? Any connections we didn't see?
I mean, I think maybe like me, Maddie, and Zach, I think I remember met like a lot more than maybe what was seen, but I feel like it was just like pretty repetitive. Or like we would meet like the core 5 alliance with Finn and Anna, and then like me, Maddie, and Zach would also meet, but we would like kind of say similar things. But besides that, I mean, I think it was all shown pretty well. Like I met like once with Jackie, like maybe a couple times with Anna, like Finn once, Anthony once. I feel like I like did my rounds like one time per person, sort of, just to be like, okay, check. But there's definitely people that I never met with that, looking back, I'm like, oh, like maybe I should have just sort of like probed that relationship, like Big H or Anissa or Hallie, even. Like there's just people that I just never thought to meet with, and I just kind of wonder like maybe what would have come if I had done that.
Yeah, I think Anissa made a comment in this episode saying that she had met with you, and that was something that I hadn't seen yet. So maybe I just took it out of context. So
maybe Jacob.
There are also like a lot of conversations that happen like in passing throughout Emerson that just they never get filmed. So odds are that did happen. They probably passed by, said a quick name, could have been a lie, could have been the truth, and then went about their days. And then in their books, that counts as talking to someone.
Yeah.
We did actually, on the way to my demise, I did actually end up running into Anissa, and we like walked the whole way to tribal. I gotta say, that girl can lie like no one's business. She was like, going all off about Carly Vo and being like, I feel so bad, but I just think it's like what's best. But I really give her props. Like I was sold on it.
Now, she probably would have. I switched to Carly. Had I don't know, like Zach made a really big play at Tribal, deflecting the name off him. So I think really that was split decision, it seemed like, at least, especially during the editing. So
right. Well, I think that their plan at that time had been Zach, but like didn't want to tell me because I was working with him. But a lot happened there.
Yeah,
as we know.
Now, a big factor in this whole season with Palamedes, or that's not right. Where's Hallie? I need her to correct. But the Temple of Risk, that didn't seem like something you were too keen on, per se. You didn't really step up and try some of those?
No.
No, it's probably bringing it back to the athletic thing, right?
I was so like, I knew I would go and it would be like, I don't know, like wrestle, something crazy. I don't know. I don't even like, I just feel like I was playing the game and I was like, do I really need to add something else to make me, I don't know. Cause I just was so afraid of getting the disadvantage and like people knowing that I had gone and played and then like lost for our tribe, whatever. And because I know I'm not adept at challenges, I was like, it's likely that I would get the disadvantage and then everyone will be mad at me. So I was like, it's best I just don't. But like watch them, they looked so fun. And obviously there were some that were like puzzles and stuff. And I was like, well, if we were told in advance exactly what they were, then I would have gone.
But then, of course, that would deflate the risk factor. And you're like, well, I know it's a word puzzle.
I know, I'm like ready with my dictionary.
Yeah, I mean, to your credit, though, you did really well in the memory challenge. And, I mean, you're like final 2 in that, final 3 in the balloon one. So, I mean, you had your moments.
I know. I feel like definitely with the memory, I buckled under the pressure of the moment. Yeah. I was so stressed. Looking back, I was like, that was so dumb. A dumb move on my part. But yeah, I mean, the balloon, I don't know. I was literally just hiding from people. That's how I made it.
That's a strategy.
Yeah.
Now, something that I forgot to bring up in our conversation with Maddie, I think it was somebody mentioned some place called the TAM. Is that right? I think there was a confessional filmed at it or something. Can you walk us through this important meeting at the TAM?
Walk us through the TAM.
I'm like, this is my dream question. The TAM is like our campus bar. So it's like literally on campus. We go there all the time. We'd go there after many tribals and challenges. And yeah, I mean, we were there and it just felt like the moment was right for me and Maddie to have a very secret, private conversation at a loud, packed bar full of other players. Were definitely there. But oh my God, what a place. Yeah, that was definitely a good moment in the episode. But yes, a lot of, I'm sure a lot of good came of that meeting. Like we definitely remember so much of that.
And I think this is a tradition in a lot of these college ones just to throw a party per se. Austin, I know normally does a party over there.
Yeah, we had the party. That was during a crazy ass week.
Yeah, what we missed on Boston was a secret conversation in a bathroom. So we gotta work on that for season 5.
Nobody had any conversation while they're peeing in a bathroom. Yeah. Check that one off your bingo cards, everybody.
It's probably for the best.
Yeah.
Now, is the TAM still going, or did it get closed down or something? I think there was
shockingly, disturbingly still open.
Really?
From the social media stalking I've done, because it hurts that I'm not there sometimes. Yes. Like they seem to be open with glass walls in between certain areas, small parties. Everyone go to the TAM, support your small businesses.
I do think it was a comment. I think it was from Anthony. He's like, I missed the TAM, so I was thinking maybe it closed or something, but no.
No, we just being there physically.
The Survivor Boston reunion. Hey, 2021. Yeah.
That a dream.
Charlie does want to chime in real quick. Favorite clips are from the TAM. So
he just said because he was in the clip.
I was just wondering if it would be harder, but I guess editing likes it. So hey, next time confessionals all on the dance floor.
Yeah.
Let's see here. We talked about challenges and voting and stuff like that.
We want to jump into the episode proper?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I guess my first question with episode 9, right, is more about episode 8, because you have a confessional kind of at the start that's you thought original Katai was gonna vote you actually instead of Finn.
Mm-hmm.
So I think something we didn't really see too much was kind of, I guess, the reasoning for that. Maybe I miswatched it in my kind of review, but you want to elaborate on that for us? It's what kind of made you think that they were gunning for you instead?
Yeah, I mean, the Maddie vote was just such a huge shock, and it felt like the tides were turning. The tides were changing.
Yeah.
The phrases. And like Finn having flipped, I was like, okay, so Finn is like fully with that side. Like now it's just me, Zach, and Anna. Like we're done. So I mean, I really was like, okay, they're just gonna pick us off one by one at this point, and I'm sure I'll be next. So that, I think that was kind of my reason. There was nothing specific that like I thought was said about me.
Okay.
But it just felt like my alliance was like now going to get picked off with Finn probably after that, I figured. But yeah, I mean,
there was a lot of chaotic like aftermath to that Maddie vote where both sides thought that Finn wasn't with them. Like both were convinced that Finn had voted with the other side because of the stray vote for Zach and because Jackie flipped like and voted.
And Anna, like, I mean, I feel like the entire episode after is people just going over the numbers over and over. Well, if you voted for this person and whatever. But it's true. I mean, I think I even at one point in that episode, I'm like, I just can't imagine Finn flipped. So whatever. Like it was just like, it was so shocking to me in the moment because I feel like watching back, I'm like, okay, maybe my alliance wasn't as tight as I thought, clearly. But it felt like super tight, like the five of us, whatever. So it was so shocking that, I mean, I hadn't even at the moment known that like Anna had also, but it was shocking to think that anyone in my alliance would have flipped. So I was like, there's no way. I feel like that's why we kept going over the numbers where I was like, well, who could it have been? Like, I don't get it. So it was definitely tough to watch.
Do you think there's anything you could have done like in retrospect to prevent Finn and Anna from flipping, or do you think that that was kind of something they were going to do regardless?
I mean, I just think that like within the alliance of the five, I think it was like pretty obvious that like me, Maddie, and Zach were like a three within the five. And I don't know. I mean, we would have had to prevent that like much earlier on, like decide, let's keep this under wraps, whatever. But I don't think that we were very secretive about it, or it was just like pretty obvious. So I think like to Finn and Anna, it was like clear that, okay, like they're going to want to be each other's like final three. So we're just going to get picked off, you know? So, I mean, I get it. Like watching it made sense that both of them like had thoughts about flipping. And probably from their perspective, like it didn't like seem so obvious what the lines were in Katai to them as how they looked in like Fatia. So I'm not sure. I mean, that's the only thing that I can really think that we could have prevented. But I mean, again, it was, I mean, I feel like even Finn admits it was kind of like a crazy just to pull out. So who really could have prevented it?
I mean, at the same time, too, you were able to get Jackie into it.
Yeah.
Do you think that was mainly your work that you brought Jackie in?
No. I mean, I think that was part of it.
Yeah.
But I think that her and Maddie had been like building sort of a relationship. And I think also, like, obviously Jackie was very close with Austin, and Austin was friends with me and Maddie outside of Survivor before. And like, we were very close. So I think Jackie sort of like through that trusted us when Austin was gone. And I think that Jackie genuinely really liked me and Maddie and like had no reason not to want to work with us, just that she had ended up on a different tribe. So I think when the opportunity presented itself and she felt like we were being very genuine, like, no, we're not just using you for a vote. Like we would actually want to work with you, versus I don't know if she felt that way at that point with her tribe, whatever, like, or she was just unclear where the lines were. So yeah, I mean, at the moment, obviously, I was surprised.
I mean, she even stuck with you for this last episode too. So
no, yeah, she's lovely. But yeah, crazy.
Did you ever have any concerns about Anissa's mystery idol? She told this big story about how this was used on like the second or maybe the third vote or something, and then it turns into this, and then it has a special power.
Okay, well, once again, I have never seen Survivor, so for all I knew, that was like a legit thing that happened. I mean, I would have, if no one had said anything, I would have been like, okay, that's her idol, for real. Mm-hmm. But then Zach had like mentioned like being kind of suspicious of this idol, and that's only when I was like, oh, like maybe this is like a lot of things are attached to this. So I feel like I feel like there was no one who wasn't suspicious of it, to be honest. I think even Anissa was like, this lie is getting suspicious.
I'm suspicious of myself.
I don't think that I really was making any decisions based off of it. Like, I feel like maybe Maddie was talking about this, where it was like, there's so many things happening and so many people and like conversations that it just felt like, okay, like whatever, that's like not like a now problem. Like I think we kind of put it on the back burners, and we're focused on like things like Finn and whatever.
Gotcha. It seemed like a few episodes ago, the focus was on Anissa getting the votes until she won, per se, the Pacer Challenge. But then she won the win, and then she got the idol-ish, whatever it is. Seemed like the votes were focused on Anissa for a while, and now it just shifted to other people.
I know. How does that happen, right? I just feel like it's like 1 week you have one conversation and then the next week it's like someone else's name gets brought up, and it's sort of like, okay, like this is the new focus. I don't even remember what it was that made us talk about it. So
I would honestly say that like a big part of that, because like if she didn't go home during the merge because of immunity, like there would have at least been votes on her to see if that idol was real. That was going to happen irregardless that she got that immunity. So then you get to the merge and this crazy vote happens where so many people's cards just get laid open, or for Finn, and no one knows where these cards even are. So the conversations just fully shift away. And for Anissa, everyone at this point, at least they know where she stands. Whereas Finn, no one knows where he's voting. Jackie, Carly, Hallie, all these people that are in the middle become a lot more discussed because of that. So honestly, even though Anissa doesn't get the idol at this merge, like it's keeping her name out of everyone's mouths, at least for the time being.
Yeah. The fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
Well, I saw my name come up here, so shout out to Katie. Katie, thanks for tuning in. Hey. But also the fear of the unknown. You had to go into this tribal unknown of exactly where this idol was. Like, you run across traffic, you do this, you do that, and you make sure you're the first person in the room. You're going to get this idol. And it looks like it takes you the entire tribal council to get this idol out.
There is definitely cut from it. Like, it was so long. Yeah, I mean, first of all, yeah, I get the idol clue. And I mean, I pick the paper up and I'm like, yay, I have an idol. And I like go all the way home and I'm like, I have an idol. And then I open it and I'm like, oh, I don't have an idol yet. I have to do more work to get this freaking idol. And it was just so specific. And I mean, honestly, looking back now, I'm like, there wasn't really so much pressure for me to get it during the tribal. Like I didn't know at the time that I was going to go home, but I was like, I could have just like waited till everyone left the tribal room after and then like casually at ease gotten it, you know? I don't know why I was like, I have to sit at that seat, like whatever. And I like was so stressed leading up to it.
No, we appreciate that. Like we were with you the entire time. We were like, you gotta get this. And
I know. And I feel like I still like casually, like leisurely stroll into the room as if I didn't plan to be first and sit in this one specific seat. But yeah, someone, not gonna name names, Jacob, taped the idol extremely to the bottom of the seat. He knows this. There was like gallons of tape. So yeah, it was like so hard to get it off. It was like literally super glued to the seat. And I feel like the best moment is like, I feel like I'd finally gotten it and it was like half still attached to the seat and half in my hand. And that's when Charlie chooses to ask me. And that's, I'm like still sideways because I can't let it go because it'll probably fall and then make a huge noise. So I'm like literally arm in the seat, like just casually sideways into the question. Like no one thinks it's weird.
Austin at the same time agrees. You were doing yoga during tribal council, it looked like. So, and then you just like raised in this position. You're like, oh yeah, this is Just
actual chaos.
Yeah. I mean that tribal was nuts.
No, Jacob's like, we very much noticed you.
Yeah, 'cause, like a couple minutes before tribal, like when we were putting the idol there, I asked Sarah, who's one of our producers, who had this same idol in season 1, and the problem was for her, like it was also really difficult. I also had taped that one to the bottom of her chair. I'm like, oh, okay, so like that one was hard. I'll definitely make it a little easier for Swetha. And then I accidentally made it like 1,000 times harder unintentionally. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, fuck me. But great TV from my. I'm happy I messed up. It was great for me. Sorry, Swetha, great for me.
Oh my god, I was like sweating in tribal. God, that was a nightmare.
And then Kirk was on a little bit earlier before our pre-show, just chatting with us. And of course, he had to ask, why didn't you play it? Kirk had an experience too that he found an idol. He played it at Tribal. He found it there. He's like, I might as well just play it. Did that thought cross your mind?
Yes. Oh, God, it haunts me to this day. I mean, I think someone in the comments was like, that was silly as Swetha. And I was like, yeah, it was. Thank you for being honest. Because everyone else was like, oh, like she was a fallen queen. And I'm like, no, like it was silly. But I don't know.
You had no inclination that it was you. Like it was supposed to be Zach and everything. Yeah. So like,
I mean, I think there was many reasons. First, I mean, as we just discussed, I spent like 30 minutes like sweating, getting this idol. Like I wasn't just gonna give it away immediately, Like I was like, I earned this. Like I want to save it for when I really need it. I feel like that's always the thing with idols. You want to save it for when you need it. You never know when you need it. And I didn't think that like they could so quickly pull a different name, like in the middle of tribal, like it was definitely set on Zach, and then he pulls out his idol and creates this whole chaos. So my thought is, okay, like the only other name that's been thrown out for this week is Carly. So I figure everyone's just gonna write down Carly's name, because like what else are we gonna do? Like they're either gonna write down Zach's name and hope for the best, or they're gonna write down Carly. But like never did I think that they would be able to quickly switch and put my name down. So it just felt silly. Like in the moment I was like, oh my God, imagine I play this idol that I just got and literally no one even wrote my name down. Like that's so stupid. So, I mean, it went through my head for the very few moments I had between getting the idol and the names being read out. But yeah, I mean, regrets.
Was this a part, did you and Zach discuss this before he made that play, or was it just a split decision on his part saying like, I'm going to try to save myself, so I'm going to like pretend to use the idol, or was this something you two discussed going into?
Yeah, I mean, sorry, Jacob. It's another one of those conversations in passing. I'm pretty sure that we literally met up to just walk to tribal together or something, and we like discussed on the way. And he was like, I have this crazy idea. Like, he was like very eccentric. Because like I was a crazy idea. Like, I don't want to like waste my idol. Like I think like, I just put it all out there. Like I know they're gonna write my names down. Like I just want to like cause confusion. And like I think that's gonna just make everyone be like, okay, let's just vote for Carly. And I definitely said not to do that. I mean, I thought it was a good idea in some ways. Like, yes, it's definitely good to like cause like a surprise, but I was like, I really think like just keeping quiet and like playing it, and then Carly goes home would also work, and then we'd have like more numbers on our side. But I mean, he did survive, so maybe like obviously like it sucked for him that I got sent home, but like it did give him that week that he wanted, so I don't think it was like a failed attempt.
Mm-hmm. It sounded like he scared you with possibly room keys, according to Anissa.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's hilarious.
He pulls it out and it's like literally his keys, and he's like, oh, sorry guys, that ruined my big moment.
Something similar happened to me where I was like, I have an admit, and that's my wallet. Here's the advantage. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So it's you gotta put your advantages and your idols in a different pocket that you put your wallets and keys.
Yeah. Truly. Wow.
But at the same time, too, Zach being a super fan and being very knowledgeable of the show, so I'm sure he did see this on like an episode in the past or something that it had been played successfully. So he probably had that idea from that.
Sure.
And it just really worked really well from him. He did lose a number in you, of course, though. So that was the unfortunate thing. Like, I could see why you folks really thought, and it was really close, 4-5. Like,
Mhm.
you almost had that Carly out. So
Yeah.
Wow,
it
the counting down of the names, like, wow, the tension.
yeah.
Even down to the last second, like I was so sure it was gonna be Carly.
and it looked like she did too. She had her buff off. She
Yeah,
was ready.
I did. My buff was on.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
That really shocked me.
yeah.
Because we had been seeing so much of the episode, like talk about Carly, and to editor's credit, I don't know if that was you, Jacob, or Charlie, or if you have other editing crew, but it's like total. You see like a couple seconds of Anissa whispering behind Anna to Hallie, and then it just like boom, and that was phenomenal. Like unfortunate result, but just watching it is nuts.
No, but it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Swetha, you were distracted during the time, of course, trying to get the idol. So you probably didn't see the whispering or see them even exchange glances.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking that when I watched, where I was like, wow, they obviously whispered or made a look. And if I had just been like sitting there normally, I would have seen it. But I was obviously preoccupied. So
yeah. So it was so crazy how well this idol was played and how interesting it was, like laid out with the clue and then the struggle of you trying to find it, and then you didn't see the conversation. There was so much things entwined. It was just amazing how everything worked out. Not in a great sense for you, but nothing wrong with that. You played a super strong game, and
thank you.
Fan favorite from us. So
that's so sweet. Thank you guys.
Would you ever consider doing something like this after the show? I know live reality games are always casting for different Survivor, Big Brother, original events. You want to take a step into this world again and give it a shot?
Maybe. I don't know. Austin's been trying to convince me to do something.
Yeah.
It's just, once you know how much of a time commitment it is and how it truly takes over your life, it's like, oh my God, I'm nervous. And I feel like there's always that fear that you'll play again, and then you're first out, and you're like, I should quit while I was hot.
Now, typically, these live reality games don't last a whole semester. Normally, these are not 81 days out in the forest, so that's no time commitment like that. Sometimes it's just a weekend, or maybe it's just a 4-day event. I know I just did a podcast with Brandon. He hosts the new game, Can You Survive? They're casting right now. It's a charity event, Survivor style, so you do live out in the woods. But there are some that are casting too, like Totem Pole. You're in a big giant house, nice and comfortable. Totem Pole now rebranded as the Penthouse. So they still have casting like that too. So maybe the woods aren't your thing, but maybe the Penthouse.
That sounds
really love to see it on the Penthouse.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, I was able to play Survivor Buffalo, which was 2 days. It was a lot of fun too. So there's a huge world out there.
Yeah, I know. I feel like you get attached to the game that you play and the people you played with, and it's hard to imagine playing it again with different people. So I feel like I'm kind of in that, but I don't know. Maybe I'll do something. Maybe me and Austin will do something, and then everyone will be like, "Oh, thank you."
Now we do have to talk a little bit about your I forgot the word again. The little hyphen thing. Thank you, Chiron. We do have a suggestion from the audience at home. Maddie, it looks like Rob Queen would be perfectly fitting. So, but during the season, you were mainly listed as undiscovered pop star.
I think I'm discovered now, everyone.
We have discovered you. Yeah.
Is that something you're currently still pursuing, or just looking at in the future?
I mean, I'm always trying to be rich and famous, so it's always a goal that I have ready. But no, it's truly kidding, everyone. But if someone wants to give me a label, I won't say no.
There you go.
Any final thoughts about the episode or your experience on the show, Swetha? This is really amazing. Maddie says, why did you laugh when she gave you
Stop.
compliments.
I'm uncomfortable by compliments.
And then, of course, we do have a request, which I asked earlier, which I did preface. So Austin's on the same track as I did.
No.
Austin is requesting for you to sing us a song.
Okay, I need
Austin.
Austin and Maddie to be removed from the.
Austin, we did talk prior, and maybe I talked Swatha in doing like a musical number for live reality games. Let's do like musical night, and we can showcase different.
Yes.
Austin.
Yeah, I'm like
Can-
Austin, Marlon,
Mhm.
my acapella people. Y'all
yeah.
better do it with me.
Jacob, you got something going on? You can do a little.
I will watch and support. I got no other skills to help out.
Oh, please.
Survivor Boston the musical, make it happen.
Oh my god.
Like Total Drama World Tour, you have to sing every episode.
Yo,
I-
total drama
I'm
whisperer, but someone
nothing
did that. Great stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
man,
someday.
that's funny.
Well, let's see here. Austin, any final thoughts about what is coming up? Nathan usually is here with either one of us, and he always likes to kind of wrap up the show with thoughts about what's coming up. We had Maddie on here. She had to cover her face while we said anything. So as long as, and Jacob, if
I'm
you
always
want
laughing, so it doesn't give it.
Yeah. Oh,
perfect.
man. Well, I am hyped for Final 8. I think this episode really sets us up really well. I mean, you look at the alliances. I was telling this to Dustin. We have basically 4 duos. You've got Big H and Anissa. You've got I always said Marley and Carlin again. Carly and Marlon. And then you have this whole Marlon's like into Carly, so I hope we get more of that in there. I would love to see that. We've got then Hallie and Jackie, who are looking like they're kind of in the middle of everything, and then you've got Zach and Anna, and it's like, could it be like 2 groups of 4? Could it stay like these 4 groups of 2, and we have a 2-2-2 vote, or 2-2-2-2? Zach still has his idol. Anissa has her legacy vote. And Jacob, correct me if I'm wrong, this turns into a super idol at 6. If she
It
doesn't
would be
use
a
it.
regular idol at 6.
Regular
So
idol,
it's
okay.
a double vote or extra vote for
Okay.
8 or 7.
So this is going to be the critical juncture where we've got these 2 sides, Zach's side, Zach, Swatha, Anna kind of lost a little bit of juice with Swatha going out. Will they recover? This is the most excited I've been for like an episode in a long time. And I was thinking about this because you remember my kind of predictions. My final 3 was Zach, Anna, and Marlon. And you've got Zach and Anna who are on one side of the kind of the spectrum of the alliances here, and they look like they're in trouble. So I'm kind of like, great. But I'm also like, I'm rooting for everyone, and it's insane. And I'm thinking, could we possibly see what happened to Swatha happen to, say, Anna, if, Zach plays his idol on himself, and Jackie and Hallie decide to go with Big H and Anissa, or like, it could go nuts. And so we've got superlatives coming up for the next challenge, which is, a favorite of mine. And so it's gonna get crazy, and this season has just been insane. You can't say that enough. Whenever I see on like Reddit, someone's like, I want to watch more Survivor. There's nothing on right now. I'm like, watch Survivor Boston. And so like, y'all, it's gonna be good. And I know everyone who's like played, I bet you're just sitting on it. And I can't wait to see it. So again, thank you guys for just such a phenomenal season, and I can't wait.
Going forward, I do think I really want to see the Marley thing happen, and I really want to see them work together. However, looking at how Anissa looks at things and how like calculative she is, I think she might see too much power in that too. And she's like, no, me and Big H have to be the only power couple in this. So I think she might get scared of that and target one of them for being too connected. Is this the time for it? I don't know. Maybe the following episode, but I feel like that's going to be a downfall to them. I think they're going to get too scared and want to remain the only power people and try to take that. So
just with the advantages in play and everything, it's going to make it a lot more complicated. So I'm excited.
I just want to thank the audience at home for watching. We, of course, had
Thank you.
Charlie. Katie was here for a little bit. Maddie, Anissa, all of our favorites. And then Maddie also says
Jacob,
Jacob
Rob
is the
King.
other Rob
True.
King, by the way. So
Thanks, Maddie.
Have you ever played a game, Jacob?
I did. I was also voted out with an idol at 9, so Swatha and I have a lot in common.
Aww.
All right.
He did me an honor.
Jacob, final thoughts about the episode or where the show's at right now, and then of course we'll leave Swatha with the final comments before we wrap up. So
yeah, I mean, again, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you, Dustin and Austin and Nathan, for doing everything you do with LRG and the podcast. This is like one of those episodes that like reminds like me and Charlie like why we love Survivor. And shout out to Charlie, because Charlie edited that tribal like flawlessly, like kicked ass, great job. He knows how to do it. But like watching all the layers that go into that tribal, Swatha looking for the idol, Zach flashing his idol to try to pull like a "don't vote for me" move, and the vote switching on like in the back the whole time. Like there were so many layers, and I love it when production also is just very unsure of what's actually about to happen. So it's definitely one of my favorite tribals that we ever had. And we've really appreciated the feedback. Like every morning, Charlie and I just sit and just talk about how excited we are for the show. So it's great. You guys are a part of that, so thank you all so much. Just lucky to be here.
And of course, we can't like have a great show without great characters. Swatha, any final thoughts about like the whole season per se, your game experience, or what you've garnered from this whole thing?
I am very glad that I did this season. It was seriously one of the best times of my life, and actually crazy, but so much fun. And yeah, I mean, you just make such like great lifelong friends from Survivor. So I'm so glad I played. And, you know, I was honored to have worked with Maddie, Zach, Austin, everyone. 2 other robbed queens. Yeah, had so much fun. So grateful to Jacob and Charlie for all that you do. And thank you guys for having me on the podcast tonight. It was so fun.
Thank you. I'm so glad you took that risk, and I'm so glad you're here like talking about it. And I just hope people watching at home that are like, maybe I should do this too. Like maybe you should. It's going to be a great experience for you, and you're going to, like you said, make these lifelong bonds and have that whole thing go down. Speaking of things going down, we have a few things going on this week. We do have Survivor Philly, new episode. They're doing a relaunch with some nice podcasts with the interviews. They do have 2 people from the show, Warren and Bryce. They do nice little after game interviews, which is pretty cool. And then on Thursday, we have 2 episodes dropping. We have Survivor Syracuse at 7 and then Survivor Boston at 8. So make sure you all turn over to the YouTube and leave the comments, and you can join me. I'm typically there most of the time. And then, of course, Jacob and Charlie are usually there for some great behind-the-scenes comments as well. Thanks, everyone. Austin, Jacob, Swatha, everyone, for tuning in tonight. And make sure you follow us on our YouTube, Live Reality Games, LRG. And then, of course, here on Facebook and everywhere else at facebook.com/live reality games. Till next time, we'll see you then, and good luck with your games.